as of right now, they still have not announced whether or not Twisted Metal is going to be renewed for season 3. And again, if they don't renew it, I'm going to just accept it because unfortunately TV is just absolute fucking ridiculousness when it comes to great shows not getting the renewal it should. Fuck you, HBO. Our flag means death. Only needed one more season. Anyway, so with that in mind, I'm not going to be brokenhearted if it ends. But at the same time, though, the show did end on a bit of a cliffhanger. So just because I want to get this off my chest, because I had a lot of fun putting this together, here is a list of the characters from the games that I wouldn't mind see make an appearance in Twisted Metal Season 3. From Twisted Metal 1, Scott Campbell, also, who drove Spectre. Now, in the first game, Scott Campbell was a guy who was brutally murdered at a circus by Sweet Tooth and joined the contest specifically so if he won, he would be able to be resurrected. Now, given the fact that the show has finally leaned hard into the supernatural and the paranormal, now we see that Soul Reapers maybe exist, that demons exist with reality bending powers. I think it's safe to say we can go into the realm that ghosts exist and add on to it, given the fact that they've established that John Doe is completely paranoid and terrified of ghosts. It would be funny that one of the characters who turns out to be one of their allies is in himself a ghost. So it would be funny to have this character show up. One vehicle in Twisted Metal that has been a recurring one throughout the games that still has not shown up in the series, and I'm wondering if they're saving it for this particular moment, is the vehicle Warthog. And given the way Season 2 ended, with the walls coming down and now the insiders are now coming out to wage war on the outsiders, I'm wondering if they're actually going to save this character, the driver of Warthog, maybe from the first one or even from Twisted Metal Head On, to kind of be like the big soldier who's kind of leading the armies to wage war on the outsiders. So I'm wondering if Warthog is being saved for this moment, so that way we have this character. Now, this is not the same character as the one from Head On. Two separate characters, but both of them are military dudes who are like all about serving country blindly and all that bullshit. So it would be kind of great to have this character show up and be kind of like kind of like how Stone was in Season 1. It would be kind of cool to have him as something of a primary antagonist in the course of Season 3. In Twisted Metal 4, there was an annoying-ass family called the Joneses who drove around in a souped-up Griswold-style station wagon, and they were pretty much an unhinged family who wanted the nicest RV possible to be driven by Sweet Tooth. Now, I want them to show up so badly in the show because they do kind of complement the insanity of the show, but frankly, one thing that would be insanely cool is that with the gates open and the insiders all out to wage war on the outsiders, it would be insanely twisted, the idea that one of the insiders is this family who is all hell-bent to go out there and just cause shit and mess with the outsiders because of like that horrible white privilege bullshit where they like believe that they'll be just allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted to. You could even say it would be kind of awesome, especially given what we've established in the first season with the sick ass assholes in the OC, the people who cut off Quiet's finger and also mutilated her brother. It would be kind of cool to see that this family, maybe they're from the OC, who decide now that the gates are open, they can just run amok and just do whatever they want to outsiders. So it'd be kind of cool to have them as a sick ass wild card in the proceedings. One of the more compelling characters in Twisted Metal Black was No Face, who drove the car Crazy 8. He was a boxer who, just through about a bad luck, ends up in the hands of a surgeon who lost all of his money betting on him, and out of spite decides to rip his eyes and his mouth out and turning him into, well, this. No idea how he could come into play in the proceedings, but it would be awesome to just have him show up in this because he is actually a very compelling, very sympathetic character. And you know what? I mean, Preacher was able to pull off Arseface. I think Twisted Metal could probably pull off this character. The vehicle Hammerhead very consistently has had different drivers, like practically through every game. Hilariously, we got our lovable Mike and Stu. Well, now we just have Stu. But another driver of Hammerhead in Twisted Metal Head On was this guy, Catfish. Now, in the game, he is a big game hunter who wanted to hunt the most dangerous game possible, which of course was humans. Now, where this character goes in the grand scheme of things, he could be an insider who's just hell-bent to get his bloody game on and go out there and hunt, or he could be an outsider who is like hiding in the woods who did that. Either way, it just seems right to have a character like this show up in Twisted Metal in one form or another. And it would be like, for all we know, he could be like, actually, now that John Quiet and Mayhem are now out on the lam, it could be said that he's being hired to hunt them down. So this character could be a major player. You know, it would be kind of cool to throw him in the mix. So Catfish. Another character who's been very consistent in the games, pretty much, especially in 1, 2, and 3, is Bruce, who drove the lowrider car Thumper. Now, in the story of the first one, he was a gangbanger who just wanted to make his neighborhood safe, and he made the wish. And funny enough, Calypso granted the wish with no strings attached. Go figure. But his motives have kind of changed throughout game to game. But again, the games have never been consistent when it came to their story. But it would be cool to have this recognized character show up in some capacity or another. Honestly, it would be kind of awesome to have characters from the inside, you know, who people from the because one thing that the show has consistently that the show has alluded to is the idea that not everyone on the inside are all nasty people. In fact, you know, John Doe became friends with a couple of them while he was in New San Francisco. So it would be interesting to see that there are people who might be on the inside who may not agree with the shit that the insiders are doing. So for that end, it would be kind of cool to have a character like Bruce come in who may have been an insider who ends up going out there, seeing the plight of the outsiders and maybe realizing, yeah, this shit's fucked up. So this character could be great. And not only that, he's just a beloved character from the game. So kind of shocking we haven't had him in sooner. No idea how, no idea why, but let's face it, it would be fucking funny if they were able to find some way to get Rob Zombie in the show. Like, actually cameo in the show. Maybe make him a driver, I don't know. Somehow, some way, get Rob Zombie in there, because one of the best things about Twisted Metal 4 was the fact that Rob Zombie, he himself, was a driver in the contest, and he actually had one of the more badass vehicles with one of the most badass specials. So, I don't know how you do it. The show has been able to impress the hell out of me with what they've been able to work in from the games. So, I know there's some way that you could fit Rob Zombie in the show. You already got Dragula in there, and it was great. But let's see if you can get the actual man in the show. One of the drivers of Darkseid, in fact, the very first driver of Darkseid, was this guy, Mr. Ash, who many have speculated may very well be the devil himself. It would shock me if they don't have this character show up in some capacity, because the show boldface tells you that Calypso is most definitely a demon in some capacity. So it would be not beyond the sphere of possibility that Mr. Ash could show up to maybe possibly be some kind of antagonist either for our heroes or even for Calypso himself. So hopefully we get Mr. Ash to show up and spice things up just a little bit. One thing the show has done consistently great is that even if they're characters that aren't really meant to make a big impact on the story as a whole, they still do a great job of bringing them in and actually having them make a impression for their limited capacity. And for a show that definitely has no problem introducing characters and just blowing them the fuck up, it would be great to bring in a fun side character like Firestarter from Twisted Metal 3, who in the game was a pyromaniac. Stupid ass wish. I'm not going to get into that, but it would be kind of fun to have a crazy ass pyromaniac who decides to join whatever battle goes on there. And for good or for ill, it would be just fun to see someone who just wants to delight and revel in chaos. So who knows where we go from here, but that'd be fun to have a character like that. Another character from Twisted Metal 2 and Head On, who actually had Calypso dead to rights a couple times, was this guy, name of Mortimer. Now, in the game, especially in Twisted Metal 2, he actually came and entered the contest specifically to get an audience with Calypso in order to messenger all the souls of people who were killed in the contest to get revenge on Calypso. So how he could fit in the sphere of the show is anyone's guess, but again, because the show has been able to lean hard into the realm of the paranormal, it would be insanely cool to have this character show up. And it would be great to have him kind of like be in the middle ground where you don't know where his loyalties lie. It might even be fun just to have him like be this ever-present thing that just people are like, who the fuck is that guy? And then he shows his true colors at the end of the season. Who knows? But he's a great character from the games, and I wouldn't mind seeing him in person. So yeah, those are some of the characters I'd love to see pop up in Twisted Metal Season 3 if we get a Season 3. So if you haven't watched the show yet, watch it. It's fucking great. It's on Peacock. If you haven't played the games, play the games. They're available on the PlayStation Network. If there are any characters that you all would love to see in the show that I have not mentioned here, go ahead, put them in the comments. Even stitch this video if you like. But if there are any characters from Twisted Metal that you'd love to see in the show, tell me.